what I mean? Like, if he's not,
it's like picture the spit just.
It's like breathe in. Do you feel anything? You would if you had a Tic Tac. Like so. It's like they're right up in each other's face, dude. Who knows? It's just breathing all breathy in each other's face, all stinky like. And
I wonder if he's like in the dugout with some like sweet restaurant.
Yeah, just like, well, I am gonna go yell in his face. I would hate to.
I'm getting ready to.
And then they go and they kick the dirt, which I think is ridiculous, and it's just it's such a show. I don't think that it's like legitimate. I don't feel like that it's authentic. I feel like that they're going through baseball motions when they go out there. I don't feel like the managers are always that mad. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't feel like they're always mad enough to go out there and have an actual altercation with the umpire. I mean, maybe they're mad enough to be like, "Oh, come on, terrible call." Everybody does that in games. But in baseball, you have to, if you're a manager. You don't like the call, you have to go onto the field. You have to get right up in the umpire's face. You have to make a big scene about it.
But it's about your team.
Yeah.
It's about your players. They got to know that you're there.
Yeah, but
that's why that's like 90% of
that's
why
what
they do
that.
that.
That's what I've been saying for so long, and really, like, that needs to happen for Major League Baseball players to get motivated. Like, they have to know, they have to get fired up because their manager's out there. Like, that's what it takes for them to know their manager's on their side.
I'm sure it doesn't have to happen.
What kind of low self-esteem, the kind of needy people are these baseball players?
I'm sure that it doesn't take that. Okay?
Yeah.
But in all sports, there's superstition, there's ways of doing things. They do things a certain way to make a certain result. You know what I mean?
I know.
Believe.
I know. That's what I was saying. That's like, why is this necessary in baseball? I don't understand. It's the way they do it.
The coach is going, "Hey, my team's lagging. They're dragging."
And they try to get them fired up.
I'm gonna put on a show to try to fire them up and get them going.
Let them know that I'm. Yeah, but it's.
And I get to yell at somebody in their face.
But why is it? It's exclusive to baseball. You know what I mean? Like,
in hockey they just go after each other.
In hockey they settle it.
Throw the gloves down. I'll stab you with my skate.
They settle it on skates in hockey. Come on, dude. That's not fighting. What do you think? I've done a lot of shows, B-Rai, about
fighting.
Oh, on skates out there, ice skating around.
Dudes?
Yeah. I don't.
That's a fight.
I don't condone hockey fights.
That's a fight.
I don't condone them. I think that fighting should be removed from hockey. I think that it's silly. I think that it's assault. I think that it's cheap, desperate attempt at ratings.
I think it's the price to play the game.
Oh, yeah, like Stained. Well, okay, how about this? Who's the greatest hockey player ever? Gretzky. 2 career fights.
Huh?
2 career fights.
Well, everybody liked him.
That's fewer than Larry Bird.
Yeah, you don't have to fight to be popular.
Well, I know, but that's what I mean. Like, fighting doesn't have to be a part of hockey, and that's my main point. The greatest to ever play the game didn't think it needed to be a part of the game.
He's still gotten a fight twice.
That's fewer than players from other sports that don't allow fighting. You know what I mean? In a sport that fighting is almost encouraged, as it is in hockey, and it's such a quote part of the game. How come the best player ever only got into 2? Some guys get into 2 fights a night. You know what I mean? And Gretzky got into 2 in his whole life. Like I said, that's less than Larry Bird. And Bird got in several fights in the NBA. Larry Bird in the NBA. I mean, not just him, other guys. It's just not necessary. I would understand if you win the fight in hockey, if your team gets a point, like, you have to do the penalty, but you get a point. Like, if you get rewarded for winning a fight, I'd be like, all right, it's part of the game. Because people always... I wrote a big thing about it on the internet. People were like, dude, it's part of the game. Be a man, it's part of the game. I'm like, okay, no, you're right. I'm totally a chick now. And no, it's not part of the game, because how does it affect the outcome? Doesn't. No bearing on the outcome.
Well,
not part of the game.
That's debatable.
It's debatable because what? A good player has to sit in the penalty box if they get in a fight?
Because, here's the thing. You light a match under somebody and set them on fire.
Okay, but that's indirectly. How does it directly affect the outcome?
But directly or indirectly, it's going to affect the outcome.
But not always. I mean, you can't see the direct effect. If you knock a dude out and it's bam, now you're up 1-0, you can see the outcome. You can. If a fight happens in the first quarter and some guy's still mad about it and slides a good pass through somebody's legs in the third period to score the game-winning goal. Like, you can say, like, yeah, I was still pretty fired up about that fight earlier, but you can't make that, you know what I mean? You're taking shots at it, you're taking stabs at it. Like, well, maybe that's because why. You know what I mean? That's not a direct.
Maybe that's because why.
Yeah, maybe that's because why that happened. You know what I mean? That's what we're saying. Well, maybe it's because of that.
What kind of language are you talking?
It is.
No, I'm about to bumble myself. Every time
I'm just saying. It doesn't have to be there. It doesn't help the game.
Yeah, but
nobody's watching anyway.
Sheer fact.
Okay.
Apparently, people in Detroit are watching.
No.
But,
congratulations.
Fact,
that's
we've
also
never
the murder
played.
capital of the world.
We've never played hockey.
Me? I played hockey.
You played ice hockey?
No. But I've been around it, and I played floor hockey. Yeah.
Okay.
But
I played air hockey.
Played hockey on
awesome
PlayStation. But I'm entitled.
Goals.
I do a sports show.
Right. Well, you're entitled to your opinion.
I'm entitled to it.
Of course.
Yeah. And I can say
I'm just saying maybe we don't understand all of what happens after the fight or what, but they definitely do it a lot, so it definitely has something to do with the game.
Well, no, they do it a lot because they've always done it. You know what I mean? It's just always been listen, in sports, guys want to fight. If guys were allowed, if guys in the NBA didn't get such, severe fines and punishments for getting in fights, there'd be a lot more. If they just had to go sit out for a couple minutes, there would be a lot more fights. In all sports, there would be a lot more fights. If it was encouraged, if it was like part of the game, like they say about hockey, and players didn't get suspended for several games and fined thousands and thousands of dollars for throwing one punch, which they do in all other sports. I mean, it's serious penalties for fighting. It would be different. You know what I mean? It's just because they're allowed to, and because they're taught that from the time they're kids. I mean, in Pee-wee hockey leagues, there are fights. You know what I mean? In youth hockey leagues, there are fights. Yeah, and it's because they watch pro hockey, and that's their role models. You know what I mean?